कुंज बिहारी जय राधा राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जय। ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Ajnanathmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuvannmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapanantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratpishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Pancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Hare Krishna. I heard many of the students of Bhakti Vaibhava course are here and you are all going to start your Bhakti Vaibhava course. Who are all going to start Bhakti Vaibhava course? Can raise your hand? Okay. Very good. Almost about 25, 30? Good. 45 devotees shortly. Okay, very good. So, although this session was intended for them, it is intended for one and all. Because the Bhagavatam is important for all of us. You see, Srimad Bhagavatam stands supreme, like a sun among stars. Because all the Puranas in this world, 18 Puranas, they teach you how to make your material life better. Bhagavatam teaches you how to go back home, back to Godhead. That's the main difference. It's like someone comes to you in the jail and tells you, don't worry, if mosquitoes bite, I'll give you a mosquito net. If it is very cold, I'll give you a blanket. If morning the water is very cold, we will provide you a geyser. So other Puranas do that type of work. They uh, they offer you worship of various devatas like Surya Deva for good health, Saraswati for good education, Lakshmi for wealth, Shiva Parvati for getting a good husband or a wife. Such kind of things they provide. Some material commodities. Whereas Srimad Bhagavatam gives us love of God, which is called as Paro Dharma. That is how Bhagavatam stands out from the other Puranas. It's glorified very much. Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam Amalam Yat Vaishnavanam Priyam Yasmin Paramahamsyam Ekam Amalam Jnanam Param Giyate Tatra Jnana Viraga Bhakti Sahitam Naishkarmyam Avishkritam Tachanman Supathan Vicharana Paro Bhaktya Vimuchyen Naraha. This verse says, those who study Srimad Bhagavatam, eventually they will also attain the status of pure devotees because it's Amalam Puran. Malam means material enjoyment or any type of pleasure that is separated from Krishna. Krishna Itara, we call it. That is Malam. Amalam Purana means it is spotless Purana which talks about love of God, love of Krishna. So 4 things you will get by studying Bhagavatam. That is saying that Tatra Jnana, Viraga, Bhakti, Naishkarmyam. 4 things we will get. In the beginning we get Naishkarmya. Naishkarmya means we will learn to perform all our activities in a responsible way while detaching ourselves from the fruits. Like Janak Maharaj, for example. You do your duty responsibly, but be detached. Detached performance of duty responsibly while offering the fruits to the Lord. That's the beginning step. As we keep doing that, we get purified to a point where jnana arises. And what is the jnana? I am not the body, I am spirit soul. And then you keep remembering, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi. What is Sat, what is Asat? But that is not enough. If somebody says, Aham engineer was me, I am engineer, I am engineer, I am engineer. No, like you go to a college, you don't say I am engineer, you also act as an engineer. Correct? Huh? So one has to act on the platform of Brahman. As those who are understanding I'm not the body, I'm spirit soul, they keep speculating what is Sat, what is Asat. It is called as Nitya Anitya Vastu Vivekam. They get the Viveka Buddhi to know what is Anitya, what is Nitya. Also, Iha Amutra Bhogadi Viragam. Iha means material world, in the earthly plane, and Amutra means heavenly. Iha Amutra Bhogadi Viragam means they develop detachment from earthly pleasures and heavenly pleasures. Understanding that they are all temporary and they are pain producing. So Jnana is realizing. Then they have the Shatka Sampati, they call it, which is Shama, Dama, such kind of qualities. They cultivate. Finally, they aspire for moksha, liberation. So these are all Jnana platform. So when a person comes from Nishkama Karma Yoga to the Jnana, in the platform of Jnana, when he becomes mature Jnani, he comes to the point of Bahu Nam Janma Namante, Prapadyate, then he understands that Vasudeva, Lord, is Antaryami, super soul in the heart of every living being. So now, after speculating and roaming in the entire material world all around, at last I have come to the right conclusion. What is he's called as a Samadhi Bhagyam. Akshata Vishayam. Akshata Vishayam means he is the Lord fit for our eyes to see. Samadhi Bhagyam means he is the gift for a person who is focusing on understanding the Supreme. So then one comes to that Jnani turns into a yogi. So for Dhruva, he did not have to go through Nishkama Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga and all. Because readily he accepted Narada Muni's version that in your heart there is Super Soul standing. Just meditate on him. He accepted. If you readily accept, you don't have to go through the previous ones directly. Just like somebody is telling you, please come into the lift. We will take you to the 6th floor. If you say, no, I'm not sure whether it will take me. Okay, then you go through the steps. Then you climb through the steps, then Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, then you come to Bhakti Yoga. But if you have faith, then you get into the lift. Sometimes the lift doesn't appear to be moving at all. Especially in our modern day lifts, very fine lifts. You've seen that? Big lifts are there. You stand, some sound is coming, only it appears like you are standing in one place. Then you open the door, now 30 floors you've crossed already. Isn't it? So, Bhakti is also like that. You just stay, don't jump out. So then you will suddenly find yourself from Bhuloka to Goloka. So then Ashtanga Yogi also meditates on that Lord and the heart, Super Soul. There the Lord is just standing. Sajanka Chakram, Sagirita Kundalam, Sapida Vastram, Sarasiru Hekshanam, Sahara Vakshastala Shobi Kaustubam, Namam Vishnum, Shirasha Chaturbhujam, Hasam Hare Ravanata Kilalokati Vrashokashra Sagara Vishoshana Atyudaram, Sammohanaya Rachitam Nijamaya Yasya Brahmandalam Munikrite Magaradvajasya. So he says that he sees the smile of Lord Hari in his heart, and that smile completely dries up all his miseries. He becomes completely satisfied. He attains fulfillment. But he doesn't relate with the Lord more than that. He thinks, this is the Lord, I am his servant, and I just admire him, that's all. That is the yoga path. And then, gradually when one meets a Vaishnava Guru, then one renders devotional service. When he becomes active, then from that Shantarati, he goes to Dasya, then Sakhya, then Vatsalya, Madhurya, like that he goes higher. So you are seeing the connection between all this. Nishkama karma's fruit is Jnana. And Jnana in its Paripakvata attains Paramatma realization. And the one who focuses the attention on Paramatma for a long period of time, then one can go beyond the 5th level to the 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st. In this, one can understand the 5 rasas like that. So, why did I tell you this? I will tell you. The Vedic literatures are vast like the ocean. Lot of them address Nishkama Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and then finally the Bhakti is addressed in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the ripened fruit of all Vedic knowledge. Nigamakalpataror galitam phalam shukhamukat amritadrava samjutam pibata bhagavatam rasamalayam muhuraho rasika bhuvibhavuka. This verse talks about the galitam phalam. In a tree, what would you like to eat in a mango tree? The tree bark, or the tree leaves, or the tree flowers, or you like to eat kacha mango or the pakka mango? The pakka mango is Bhagavatam. So those who joined Bhakti Vaibhava, they are very intelligent. Directly they took the pakka mango. So that's a ripe mango, Bhagavad. And Upanishads are like kacha mango. Then you also have other branches which talk about various different aspects of the Vedas, you see. So, the Bhagavatam was spoken by Vedavyasa in his maturity. Even all of us in our lives, when we were immature, our speech or behavior might have been of certain standard, isn't it? And after you become mature, the behavior is much different. Similarly, the Srimad Bhagavatam also, Vedavyas, he wrote all that with a certain intention. He thought that I will give these Puranas and allure the living entities to turn towards the Vedas and submit themselves. After that, slowly I will tell them the truth about Supreme Lord. Therefore, you will find even in Mahabharata, and if you read Mahabharata, you will see mundane values are too much glorified there. Like for example, Karna is glorified as a very charitable person. Nala, Damayanti are glorified, for their piety. Sometimes the glorification of these values is so much that, personalities like Yudhishthira and all may not be so much highlighted in Mahabharata. Because sometimes the mundane values are over-highlighted. Just like nowadays you find, whenever any elderly person talks to a student, first they glorify them. Oh, you are an engineer. Oh, you are a doctor. Oh, you are a chartered accountant. They don't talk about character, correct? No? So these superficial qualifications are more glorified than what is essential and very important. Huh? In Mahabharata, that is one thing you will find in Mahabharata and Puranas. Another thing, if you go to Vishnu Purana, Padma Purana and all, sometimes the moksha is very much glorified as something very great. Even in India, you will find many people, they think that the ultimate goal of life is moksha, correct or not? In India. But Srimad Bhagavatam, you will find in the second verse itself, it rejects moksha. It says, Dharma projita kaitavatra paramo nirmatsaranam satam. Like that it says, very first verse. So when I was speaking on this, there was an elderly gentleman, he was so shocked when he heard this. Bhagavatam rejects moksha. He got up. He got up and came close to me and said, Swami, wait a minute. Take care of what you spoke. Are you speaking correctly? He was asking. Then I said, sir, I was as shocked as you when I first heard it. Then I told him, why moksha is rejected, I will tell you. Because karmi, jnani, yogi, all three of them are interested only in they are only interested in their own happiness. Like karmi wants to enjoy the material world. Jnani wants to get rid of the suffering of the pinch of birth and death. And yogi wants to get ashtasiddhis, walk on water, fly on sky, and you want to impress the public. So all three of them, what is the reference point for them? Tell me. What is the reference point for them? Themselves. I want to enjoy the world. I want to get rid of suffering. I want the 8 type of mystic siddhis to show off. That means what is the reference point? Whereas the Bhakti Yoga is Amalam, the pure path. Why? In the Bhakti path, you follow the policy of Tat Sukhi Sukitvam. You get happiness in Krishna's happiness. Like if it is hot summer, you apply Chandan on Krishna's body. And by that you get happiness. Not that you apply on yourself. It's very, very hot today. Huh? You apply on yourself. Isn't it? Isn't it? We don't apply on ourselves, we apply to the Lord. Similarly, we decorate Lord with such a beautiful turban. Look at the devotees, how many are having turban here? Isn't it? Turban or mukut. Many times devotees shave also. Huh? Isn't it? So we decorate the Lord or we decorate ourselves very attractive? Lord, yeah. Jai Shri Jagannath Balsubhadra Maharani ki. See how Lord is decorated. Huh? Isn't it? So this is the path of bhakti. You please Him. You don't worry about pleasing ourselves. Somebody may say, really? You please Him and you keep quiet? No. If you please Him, you will get pleased also. If you water the root of the tree, the entire tree will be nourished. That's a bhakti path. Huh? So you don't think about opulence for Krishna, poverty for oneself. That is bhakti path. So if you take a vertical axis, negative axis 0, 0. Sorry, negative axis 0, 0, positive axis. Negative axis is material existence. 0, 0 is moksha. And the positive axis is bhakti. So, jnana marga means negating the negative. But bhakti, if you see the Jainism, Buddhism, impersonalism, they all talk about negating the material desires, but they don't say anything positive. Like they say, don't see bad, don't hear bad, don't speak bad and all that. But Bhakti Path teaches engaging the senses in the positive, in Lord's service. Like for example, we don't say don't see the beauty of the Lord. We don't say don't eat anything and fast. Eat prasad. We don't say shut your ears, hear the katha of the Lord. That is engaging in the positive. So, in the path of Karma Yoga, you engage the senses. Path of Jnana Yoga, engage the mind in speculating and doing vimarshanam, philosophical analysis. In Ashtanga Yoga, you engage the intelligence in focusing on tad buddhayas, tadatmanas, tanishthas, tat parayanaha, kachanti punaravritim, jnana nirdhuta kalmasha. You will see that the buddhi has to become focused in the path of Ashtanga Yoga. Buddhi is used. And in Bhakti Yoga, which one you use? Karma Yoga, senses. Jnana Yoga, mind. Ashtanga Yoga, buddhi. And Bhakti Yoga, Heart. So you give your heart to Krishna. Actually, you don't give your heart to Krishna. Krishna steals your heart. Generally, in the path of love, you never say, I like that person, so I gave my heart to him. You don't give. You suddenly find heart gone. Like that you find. Krishna has stolen my heart. Right? Therefore, people put in that t-shirt, I lost my heart in, that they found later. When they came back from Vrindavan, they found heart is missing. Krishna has taken away. So, when heart goes to the Lord in love, then your intelligence, senses, mind, everything runs with the heart. Agreed? Therefore, bhakti is the wholesome path. All other paths are incomplete paths. Then why does Krishna speak about other paths in Bhagavad Gita? Na karma, jnana, yoga and all. In order to show the glory of bhakti path. He shows, see, this is also incomplete. This is also incomplete. Only bhakti is complete. You compare and see for yourself. You engage in bhakti yoga. And Bhagavatam teaches us how to become a bhakta. And that is the goal of Bhagavatam. How to give your heart to the Lord and go back home, back to Godhead. So that is Srimad Bhagavatam. It's a very beautiful literature. And actually, after millions of lifetimes, one comes to study Bhagavatam. After wandering in this Brahmanda, Brahmita, Kona, Bhagyavana, Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasade Paye, Bhakti Lata, Bij. So you get that Bij which Guru gives. What is that Bija? He gives you an idea, the procedure, methods, rules, regulations, by which the already existing bhakti in your heart can be watered and grown into a sapling, into a tree, into a creeper, which will eventually produce love of God, the fruit. So Guru is the one who meets out that ways, like Prabhupada gave 4 regulative principles and chanting 16 rounds, studying Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. Lord Chaitanya also said, Shuno, Shuno, Nityananda, Shuno, Haridas. Boliye. Shuno, Shuno, Nityananda, Shuno, Haridas. Sarvatra Amma Agya Koroh Prakash. Prati Gare Gare Gya Koro Yeyi Diksha. Bolo Krishna Bhajo Krishna Karo Krishna Shiksha. Bolo Krishna Bhajo Krishna Karo Krishna Shiksha. So Mahaprabhu said, chant Krishna's names, worship Krishna, and also study Gita Bhagavatam and apply it in your life. So worshipping Krishna is Pancharatrika Vidhi. And studying Bhagavatam is Bhagavata Vidhi. Studying Bhagavatam and also engaging in devotional service of the Lord. So what is the difference between these two? It's like a railway line. Both should go together. Worshipping the deity is done in the altar. And then here we are speaking Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam means Shravanam Kirtanam. Hearing and remembering the Lord. That is Srimad Bhagavatam. And Pancharatrika Vidhi means being attentive, not to commit mistakes in serving the Lord. So therefore we say, never forget Krishna and always remember Krishna. Bhagavatam means always remember Krishna. Svartavyam satatam Vishnu. And deity worship means never forget Krishna. If any of you have already are Brahman initiated, you will know this, what I am going to tell you now. Before you enter the deity room, you do Shodashopachar. So 16 items you do. Achaman and then Shodashopachar you do. Then you do Bhuta Shuddhi, we call it. You get relieved of the gross and subtle bodies. You actually do meditation that I am giving up my gross body, giving up my subtle body, and as a pure spirit soul, I am entering into the altar to serve the Lord. And after entering the altar, while serving the Lord, like, if you are going to feed Krishna bhoga, so you have to remove his flute. And first, you should, like when you are putting the seat, one for Guru, one for Prabhupada, then for Krishna you give, isn't it? So first you invite Guru to come and sit. Then after that you invite Prabhupada to come and sit. Then you invite Krishna to come and sit. And after that, when Krishna has eaten, prasad, he has eaten the bhoga, then first you have to give him water to wash his hands and legs and, cleansing of the mouth. and he can go back to his seat. And then Prabhupada, and then your Guru. You see the order in which I am saying this? You should not call Krishna first, make him sit, and then call other people. You first make other people, then make Krishna sit. Similarly, after prasad is over, you are going to open the altar and do puja. You have to make sure you have to give back the flute. Without giving flute, if you start the arati, he will ask, "Hey, where is my flute? Huh? You fed me prasad and kept flute with yourself." Correct, no? So in deity worship, you have to be very attentive. You have to be punctual also. You can't afford to be late. You have to be clean. You have to be punctual. You have to be very careful to avoid seva aparadas. So deity worship teaches us how to treat Krishna like Krishna. Very attentively. So don't forget. Don't forget to put the flute again. Don't forget to come on time. Don't forget this, don't forget that. Yeah. Don't be unclean. Don't put your hand in the nose or ears or anywhere. You can't do this. If you touch any whole of the body, immediately you have to take achama. So Pancharati Gudi teaches us not to forget Krishna. And Bhagavad teaches us always to remember Krishna. Therefore, smartavyam satatam vishnum vismartavyam najatu chit sarve vidhi nishedhasyur etayoreva kinkara. So in this way, we can do both the things, Pancharatrika Vidhi and Bhagavat Vidhi, and we can attain the Lord. So in this way, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there are many pastimes narrated, like Prahlad Charitra, there is Dhruva Charitra, there is Ambarish Charitra, there is Samudra Manthan Leela, there is Gajendra Moksha, there is also Chitraketu, there is Ajamala Upakhyan, Bharat Maharaja's pastimes, Pandava's pastimes. There is also Sitaram, Lakshmi Narayan, Radha Krishna, their pastimes. Actually, the Purushottama Lord, beginning with Lakshmi Narayan, and then Sitaram, Radha Krishna, as you go in this order, you will find the reverence reduces, intimacy increases. It's like going from parliament to Prime Minister's house. It's like that. So, therefore, the Srimad Bhagavatam pastimes take you to the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where, Krishna's Vrindavan pastimes, which are the topmost pinnacle of love, are explained in the 10th canto. But one should not jump to the 10th canto directly like the professional reciters do. One should go canto by canto. Prabhupada said, the beginning you may read Prahlad or Dhruva or anything, get a little taste, because sugarcane is tasty anywhere. But once you get a little taste, you should go and join Bhakti Vaibhava course. And then start from canto 1. Canto 1, canto 2, canto 3, like that you should go. Also, those who are students of Bhakti Vaibhava, it is ideal that you identify friends in the same course. Make a group of 4, 5 or 8 devotees. 8 or 10 devotees would be a very good group. In case you don't have so many, then it can be 4 or 5 also. And if you come together and have a habit of whatever syllabus is being completed, you read the shlokas and translation and purports. Parasparanagatanam pavanam bhagavat yashaha mitoratir mitastushtis nivrittir mita atmanah. This verse says, when devotees come together, like for example, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would go to Tota Gopinath to hear from Gadadhar Pandit. But he won't be alone. I will just show you. See this picture here. See, the person who is sitting with the book, anybody knows who is that? That's Gadadhar Pandit. And to Gadadhar Pandit's left side, Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda are sitting together. See? Both are having hand like this. Saw that? Putting hand like this. Like this. So, blue one is Nityananda and another shaven head, that is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And also you find behind Nityananda, you see Advaita Acharya Prabhu. You find. Also, Rup Sanatan are also there. See, Rup Sanatan are sitting in the front. Who is that fellow offering obeisances? Pratapbhadra. And behind you see Haridas Thakur. Huh? So all these great personalities would come together in Tota Gopinath, huh? To study Bhagavatam. We have to do the same thing. Huh? Advaita Acharya Prabhu in Navadvip also, he would call Vaishnavas to his house and he had a Bhagavatam study circle also. They would regularly recite Bhagavatam. And that's why Vishwarup became serious devotee. And then later on Vishwarup took sannyas. Correct, no? So here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is having a study in Jagannath Puri, and there Advaita Acharya Prabhu is having a study like that. So which goes to clearly show that Vaishnavas like studying together, huh? Coming together and studying Bhagavatam together in group. In Pune also I have met some groups of saffron devotees, 7 or 8 devotees. They have become thick friends by studying Bhagavatam together. They study in online. They are in different parts of India, but they study together. They become very good friends. Because Bhagavatam studied together will produce 3 things. Mito rati means it will produce affection between devotees for one another. And mitat tushti, it will produce inner fulfillment and satisfaction. Nivrittir, it will produce detachment from sense gratification, which is the source of all misery. So in this way, Bhagavatam will make us oblivious to the material existence and we can become spiritually absorbed by studying Bhagavatam. So, therefore, in the Bhagavatam it is said, all this worship of different devatas, or even the worship of the Supreme Lord with the desire for getting something in return, you will see that, and that is called mixed devotion. But of course, worship of Supreme Lord is very special. Krishna says, Chaturvida bhajante mam jana sukritin arjuna artho jignasu artharthi jnani. They are mixed devotees. But Bhagavatam doesn't teach mixed devotion. It teaches pure devotion. We should go from mixed devotion to pure devotion. So otherwise, all these things are kaitava dharma, it is called. Cheating religion. Because people go to the temple to do business with God. And I will give you this, I will give you some patram and pushpam and you give me 5 crore or 10 crore rupees. They think the Lord is a baby that, you can feed some small things and then you can get something in big. And you want to feed him a flower or a leaf and get camels and elephants back from him. The Lord is not to be cheated. So that kind of business should not be done. We should actually go with love, approach him with love-filled heart. So, therefore, moksha is called as kaitava pradhan, it is called. Topmost type of cheating, he says. Why? Because karmis suffer in the material world. And they know that, because I am not surrendered to Lord, I am suffering, correct, no? And they are suffering in this world. Whereas bhaktas go back to Godhead and serve the Lord eternally. But jnanis want to go to a place where they will not serve the Lord also, and they don't have to suffer also. And they can remain suspended in Brahma Jyoti. Therefore, it is called Kaitava Pradhan. Bhukti Mukti Spruha Yavat Pishachi iti vartate. Rupa Goswami says. This Bhukti and Mukti, these two are like Pishachi, he says. So one should neither want to enjoy the world, nor want to relax in the platform of moksha. Rather, one should eternally desire to serve the Lord, and that is Bhagavatam. It teaches Shuddha Bhakti. Therefore, like one time, I met a gentleman in the train. I casually called him, please come to our Pune temple. He took my invitation seriously. He said, should I come alone or should I bring the family? I said, oh, you can bring the family. Everybody is allowed, my children also. He said, everybody is. Then he asked me, where is the address? I told him, the temple address. And then he asked my name. I said, I'm Radheshyam Das. So he came to the temple and asked, can I meet Mr. Das? Exactly, on Sunday morning, 10 o'clock he was there. Because some of these people are very prompt if they say, correct, no? We take them very lightly. They are very serious. He exactly came at 10 o'clock, because Swamiji had called at 10 o'clock, he came. And our man in the Vrindadevi Information Center we have, he said, Mr. Das, in this temple everybody is Das. And that fellow never knew. So then he said, okay, that fellow asked in the counter, said, this Das is fair or black? He said, fair, okay. Does he have specs or no specs? Does he have specs? He said, is he tall or short? He said, short. He said, it must be Radheshyam Das. So then he found out. He asked, is it Radheshyam Das? Something sounding very similar, he said. Then that fellow called me, I came to pick him up. He said, Swamiji, I was about to miss you today, he said. I asked why. I didn't remember the first part of your name. I only remember the second part, Mr. Das. So, see, my Guru Maharaj also told me that this second part of the name is very important also. See, you got the name Das. We should not think I am Prabhu, correct now? You are Das. So in the spiritual world, when you go, at the entrance, they will ask you, who are you? Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale. You have to say the mantra of the Guru and Prabhupada. Then they will know, oh, you are from ISKCON. Okay. Because there are many sampradaya lines are there, isn't it? Then they will ask you, what do you want? If you say, I want to, so many lifetimes I struggled in material world, now I want to relax now. They will say, go back. Go back and do your homework and come. So what should we ask for? Service. So if you ask for service, they will ask you, whom do you want to serve? You may say, I only want to serve that beautiful blue boy with a curly locks of hair with a peacock feather who plays on his flute and always smiles at me, with whom I never feel any problem. Only with devotees I have problem. Then they will say, go back again. Do your homework and come. Correct, no? Then, when you come back, they may ask you, what do you want? Okay, I want to serve. Whom do you want to serve? I want to serve the divine couple and the devotees also. How long? Maybe for a week. Then they say, go back again. That means we should eternally want to serve, satisfy and please Hari, Guru and Vaishnavas. When you say that, chatak chak, permission granted, go inside. What should you want to do? Eternally we should want to serve, satisfy and please. This is an increasing order. Not just serve, but we should satisfy them. Not just satisfy, we should exceed their expectation. But whom should we serve? Hari, Guru and Vaishnavas. Then for all time to come, I want to serve. I have no other inclination. That is Srimad Bhagavatam. That's what Bhagavatam teaches. So in this way, we go there with the right attitude, then we have a place there, the spiritual world. That spiritual world can be experienced right here and now. If we develop this attitude, actually we will enter into a platform of timelessness. If we serve in this consciousness, even in the material world, you will feel that, oh, there is nothing greater to gain. You will be completely satisfied. If we adopt this particular mood, it's a mood, right mood to be aspired for. Like that. And anyone who studies Bhagavatam with a right attitude, they will develop this kind of consciousness by serving. Because we have nothing in the material world can satisfy a devotee. Kaivalyam narakayate titashapur akasha pushpayate durdantendriya kala sarpa patale protkhatadam shtrayate Vishwam Purna Sukhayate Vidimahendradiishcha Kitayate Yat Karunya Kataksha Vaibhavatam Tam Gaurame Vastumaha. Like that, Prabhupada Saraswati says, Kaivalyam Narakayate. For a devotee, moksha is hellish because he doesn't care for moksha because there is no seva there. Tridashapur Akasha Pushpayate. For him, the heavenly pleasures are below the wisp. Or they are such phantasmagoria. He doesn't care about heaven. And he says, the senses which have the bhogavriti, like the tooth of a snake, they are broken. The devotee never considers to enjoy the senses separate from Krishna. Always engages Rishikesha Sevana. And then he's saying, Vishwam Purna Sukhayate. The material world is no more Dukhalayam for a devotee. Why the material world is Sukhalayam for a devotee? Because he sees, Maya Tadamidam Sarvam. The whole world is pervaded by Krishna's energy. I just have to put one tulasi and offer the material world to Krishna. That's all. The whole world can be offered to him. Everything in the world can be offered to him. You see a beautiful flower, offer it to Krishna. You see beautiful jewelry, offer it to him. You see a beautiful silk, offer it to Krishna. Anything you see immediately, like Prabhupada saw one day, was watching bus which was going. Devotees wondered why Prabhupada is so attracted to a bus. Prabhupada told the devotees, find out how costly is the bus. We can buy it for our Sankirtan. We can make it a Sankirtan van. And while walking on the road, one day Prabhupada stood against a building and was watching the building upside down, up and down, up and for a long time he was watching. And then Prabhupada said, find out whose property is this. If they can give it to us, we can make it into a temple. No? So anything Prabhupada was watching, he was always thinking how to engage it in Krishna service. When he went to America, when all the people are watching Bharatanatyam, Prabhupada also went to watch one place. Huh? And the ladies were dancing on the stage. When all the American audience was watching the Bharatanatyam, Prabhupada was sitting opposite to them like this. Like you are watching that, Prabhupada was watching them. Prabhupada wanted to see what are they appreciating in Indian culture. Huh? So he is thinking how we can preach to them by presenting Krishna consciousness as a cultural presentation. Huh? So the devotee of the Lord means constantly one is thinking how everything can be engaged in Lord's service. And Bhagavatam will teach us that. Yukta Vairagya principle. How neither we should be attached to anything, nor we should be detached from anything. We should be non-attached. You know what is non-attached? Attached means like magnet attracting iron filings. Similarly, the senses and sense objects are attached in this material world for all conditioned souls. And detached means like Jnani is afraid of the sense objects, they run to Himalayas. They are detached and they develop aversion for the sense objects. Like Vishwamitra developed aversion for women, but then he fell down due to Menaka, you will see. So both attachment and detachment are not glorified in Vaishnava path. What is non-attached? You live in the heart of the city, surrounded by so much Maya all around, but you have no attraction for it. Like a lotus living in the midst of a muddy pool of water, untouched by the mud, that is non-attached. Like if you take a magnet and put it on a wooden table, anything will happen? So Vaishnava path is like that. That Bhagavatam teaches how to be non-attached. So, and that non-attachment is possible only when we become oblivious to the material world all around us. And we should not see anything in this world with a bhoga drishti. We should only see everything with seva drishti. Everything is meant for Krishna service. Sir, all use everything in the Lord's service. So, like in the ninth canto of Bhagavatam, there is one nice verse about Ambarish Maharaj. Griheshu dareshu suteshu bandhushu tvipotamasyandanavaji vastushu akshaya ratnambaranambaradishu anantakosheshu akarot asanmatim. Maharaj Ambarish, he had big palaces. He had many queens, had many sons and daughters, family members. He had costly dresses he was wearing, costly jewelry he was wearing. He had mukut and kundal and everything. He had elephants and horses. He had the whole world saluting him, bowing to him, people showering flowers upon him and doing jai jaikar for him. Even in the midst of all of that, he was not attached to any of them. He considered all of them to be like a piece of stone. He considered that these are all temporary. The only permanent thing is Krishna's lotus feet. Like we say, no, Nitai Karana Satya, Ahara Sevaka Nitya. He was convinced about that only truth is Krishna's lotus feet. Everything else will fizzle away like the cloud in the sky. He was not attached to any of them. Therefore, whether you are a grihastha, you are a brahmachari, you are in renounced order, you are in the midst of samsara, it makes no difference to a Vaishnava. Any Vaishnava can live anywhere if one has attained the lotus feet of the Lord. So that is the beauty of Bhagavatam. Like Shankara Sampradaya, if you want to attain that highest realization, first thing they will tell you, take sannyas. Without sannyas, don't even come. Like I remember when I was in South, a small boy, when Shankaracharya and all would come, a lakh people may come to see. So the sadhus are great heroes, but other people have to from a distance just do all that you do and then go back, that's all. And then they'll be watching movies, reading newspaper, doing everything, their normal life goes on for common people. Whereas in Vaishnava path, you will see that, Lord Chaitanya said there is no difference between brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyas. I am not a brahman. He said, no, naham, vipro, nacha narapatir, napi vaishyo, nashudru, naham varni, nacha grihapatir, no vanasoyatir. He said, my only identity is I am Krishna's servant of the servant of the servant of servant of Krishna. He said. So that is the Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam teaches us how in Varnashrama, whatever position you may be in, simply by hearing the Bhagavatam regularly, by applying it in your life, you can become a pure devotee in your given situation. So therefore, when I heard all these things, I felt Bhagavatam is the most important literature to be studied and propagate it all over the world, because the world is in a certain situation now. Other paths like karma, jnana, yoga and all will not work in this age. But Bhagavatam is meant for one and all. Therefore, Prabhupada says Bhagavatam has all solutions. Correct? That's one chapter. Bhagavatam gives all solutions. So, I wanted to show one PDF of Gauranga Darshan Prabhu. He has made one book called as Art of Studying and Teaching. I would recommend you, if you don't have it, you should have a copy. It's very valuable. So in that, these are the things he's covering in that book. So why study scriptures, mode of studying Shastra, methods and practical tips for Shastric study, art of learning shlokas, mode of speaking Shastra, art of speaking Shastra. These are things he's covering. So for one part is, studying and applying. Like first part you see, why study scriptures and mood of studying, and then method of studying. So the top three are about studying, taking in, studying. Why study, mood of study and method of study. Correct, no? That is top three. And the second three you see, art of learning shlokas so that you can recite shlokas also. And mood of speaking Shastra, art of speaking Shastra. Correct, no? So the bottom three is about, Paropaka. Yeah. First one is about taking in, second one is about giving out. Correct. In this, I am only taking one of it. The bottom one is the mood of, the mood of the second one, the mood of studying Shastra. I thought it's the most important one. So, we'll talk about that. Sadhusanga nama kirtan bhagavata shravan maturavasa shrimutira shraddhaya sevan. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given these 5 potent forms of Deva Bhakti. In that, one of the anga is Bhagavatam study, isn't it? So, reading scripture is not an exercise of intelligence, but an experience of the heart. So, heart should be involved there. Simply, it's not a question of writing the test and somehow passing the paper and getting a certificate. Like we had this open book test, correct, no? See, open book test means a test where you cannot copy anything. Although the book can be referred, correct, no? Even in IIT, we used to do open book test, which means the answer you won't find in the book directly. After reading the book, then you can later on think about what you read, and then you are supposed to write. So one fellow, even in the open book test, he had copied somebody. Can you imagine? What a shameful thing. You get from somebody, from internet, you go, somebody has written test, you copy. So you copy and then you get a Bhakti Shastri or Bhakti Vaibhav. What is the use of that? He's a characterless fellow, correct, no? So first, character is very foundational. So therefore, the purpose of this kind of courses is not just a scholarship or... actually, if you have intelligence, but we don't become proper devotees, Chanakya says, if you have knowledge, but that knowledge doesn't help you to become a bhaktiman, what is that knowledge like? It's like a dog's tail, he says. A dog's tail is never helpful in covering the buttocks, nor is it helpful for driving away the flies. It just stands like this. Knowledge is like that. On the other hand, look at the cow's tail, it covers the back, and if flies come, just correct. So our knowledge should be like cow's tail or dog's tail. Yeah. 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 Therefore, a scripture study shouldn't be intellectual or theoretical. It should awaken appreciation for Lord and develop love for Him. It should soften our hearts. It should transform our character. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu scolded Devananda Pandit. Devananda Pandit was having a Bhagavatam with a friend. Thousands of people would be sitting to hear him. One day when Shiva Thakur heard some pastime being spoken by Devananda Pandit, he was sitting in the pandal behind and he fainted unconscious. His whole body trembled in ecstasy. And Devananda Pandit's disciples picked him up and put him outside the pandal. So at that time, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to know this, he became very angry. He went to Devananda Pandit and said, what is the use of your reciting Bhagavatam? I will tear your Bhagavatam to shreds, he said. Devananda Pandit didn't know why Nimai Pandit became so angry with him. So Mahaprabhu felt he was taking just a scholarly approach, not duly respecting pure devotees like Srivas. Later on, he was saved from the wrath of Nimai Pandit when he rendered service to our great dancer. What is his name? Pakreshwar Pandit. Pakreshwar Pandit was dancing and many, many people gathered. Devan Pandit was uh, preventing people from pushing him. Once when he fell to the ground, he dusted his body. Mahaprabhu Niyama Pandit saw that and became pleased with Devan Pandit. By that service, he attracted the glance and grace of Nimai Pandit. So, we should not just recite in a scholarly way. Same with Roma Harshana Sutta was very learned, but he was not humble. Adantasya avinitasya. Natasya, it is said he was speaking like a drama actor playing his part. And he didn't have avinitasya, means he was not humble. Adantasya, he was not controlled in his senses. Although he was Vyasadeva's disciple. So if any of us undergo Bhakti Vaibhava and we get the degree, but if we are arrogant in our speech, we are not humble, we are not tolerant, we don't duly respect the Vaishnavas, then the purpose of that study is defeated. Correct, no? I remember long before, in those days, when you get Bhakti Shastri, very rarely some people got Bhakti Shastri in those days, maybe 25 years ago. So one fellow got Bhakti Shastri degree. Then he called some 40, 50 congregations, said, see, we have got Bhakti Shastri. You have to learn from us, Bhakti Shastri, because we are Shastri. In India, the Shastri word is a very special word, correct? No? So, and he showed the degree. So people were not having appreciation for his attitude. They said, we don't want to hear from you. We want to hear from a humble devotee, somebody else. Even if he doesn't have Bhakti Shastri, no problem. Isn't it? So, we have to know that people can easily smell if he carries some arrogance, correct, no? Even ordinary people can smell it. This fellow is very arrogant. He's not simple fellow. So therefore, our Ramahanshuta was touched by a grass. In one moment he was finished. Later on, his son, Suta Goswami, was posted as a speaker of Bhagavatam. And look at his humility. Daushkulyamadim vidunoti shigram. He says that, I am actually born in Dushkulam, in a Pratiloma marriage I was born. But it's only due to mercy of Shukadeva Goswami I have been purified. Otherwise, I have no qualification, he said. Plus, he said different birds can fly in the sky to different heights. I am like a small sparrow, I can fly to some height. Whatever, he said, yata mati, yata shrutam. As much as I have heard, as much as my intelligence goes, I will try to explain. You are all great audience. You are all learned people. Like that he spoke. He had a great respect for the audience and very humble devotee. And he glorified his spiritual master also. Yasva anubhavam akilashtrutisaramekam adhyatma deepamati tirshatam tamondham samsarinam karunaya purana guhyam tam vyasa sunam upayame gurum munina yam prajantam anuvedam upeta krityam daipayano virahakatara ajuhava putreti tanmayataya tarabo vinedustam sarva bhuta hridayam munimanatosmi. So those two verses are very, very beautiful verses. Where Suta Goswami glorifies Shukadeva Goswami. What amazing respect he has for his spiritual master. Respect for Guru, respect for Vaishnavas, and humility, and not boasting about one's abilities, and considering oneself insignificant. These are very right attitudes necessary. Understanding scripture is proportional to the attitude with which they are studied. Yeah. So, spiritual culture has multiple aspects. Svadhyaya is one of the aspects. Some people, even in the morning time, Mangalarti is going on, they are studying Bhagavatam. They say, I have to give a class today. So, during Mangalarti and Japa time, whole time they are preparing. And they are not coming to chant. And then they are chanting late at night. Is it good? No. We should have, Bhagavatam study should be blended with other important aspects of spiritual life. Namely, sadhana should be done in the morning. And we also should render some seva also. We don't want to become mere scholars without doing seva. Service and study makes you steady, it is said. Service also is required. Like, no realizations without service. Because service will digest the knowledge. So seva is required. Like there are many devotees here, I see many Grihastha devotees perform puja for Jagannath, isn't it? And they work 3 hours, 4 hours, they spend in the deity worship. Since the early days, I remember when Anukul Keshav Prabhu and the team of devotees, Vibhav Krishna Prabhu, Dharmadena Prabhu, Narahar Chaitanya Prabhu, all these people, when they all had come and started the Jagannath temple, most amazing thing in this project is many congregation devotees came forward to worship the deities on different days of the week. And there are people who are putting enormous effort in the making of the dress. Making of the dress, or the deity is making jewelry, making garlands, worshipping the deity faithfully, year after year after year. So when Jagannath became very pleased, he has gifted this temple to all the devotees. And I heard that this floor is only for some time. After that, Jagannath is going to go upstairs somewhere, correct, no? Yeah, third floor, yeah. So there's going to be temple hall, I think, getting ready, I think, slowly. It's going to come. So, in this way, one should enter seva also. It's very important. Yeah. So, and good behavior is sadachar. And also, one should not think, I will study on my own and I will have my own circle of devotees. I don't come to temple. Me and my devotees, we will live on a separate island. And people, me and my world. That is not a good attitude. We should actually come to congregation. According to the Bhakti Vriksha system made by His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj, based on the Godruma Kalpatavi also, if you see, there is a program called Vyuha program, right? Vyuha means the Bhakti Vrikshas should come together. And then they call it as a Vyuha. For example, 6 Bhakti Vrikshas come together, and then all the leaders sit together in a panel and then they talk to everybody. What is the purpose of Vyuha program? To bring Vaishnavas together. And my people should not know only me. They should also know other Vaishnavas also. So, like in Hyderabad, where I go monthly for 1 week, I go. So there I had suggested a system that every preacher should call one another equal Vaishnava friend to their group after every 3 classes. I give 3 classes, 4th class he will give for my group. In this way, when interspersed, the congregation will become very thickly related. The whole idea is, we should know the importance of Sangha. So Sangha, Swadhyay, Sadhana. Swadhyay means study of the Shastra. That also I told you, Bhagavatam study circle we can make, study together. So you can have Sangha and Swadhyay together also. Then Sadhana, that also you can chant Japa together, render Seva together, like Krishna Sudama rendered service together. Then Sadachar, good behavior. So you'll remember this, how many items? 5 items, very important. Yeah. See, just sitting with some books in a secular room is not sufficient for a deep assimilation of Shastra. Following a spiritual culture is essential, and that is spiritual culture I told you here. These 5 items are very important. Yeah. Intelligence detached from a spiritual culture is just like a speedy train without solid tracks. See? Yeah. There'll be accident, correct now? We need the spiritual culture. So what are the qualities of a good student of the scriptures? See here, many things are given here. Devotion versus intelligence, eagerness and character, gratitude, humility, being non-envious, seva bhav, nourishment versus remembrance, seeking the essence, and knowledge, application, realization. So 10 things are said. I can say 1 or 2 lines about each of them. So first is devotion versus intelligence. See, aham vedmi shuko vedi vyaso vedena veti va bhaktya bhagavatam grahyam na buddhyasana chitikaya. See, Lord Shiva is telling, aham vedmi, I know, shuko veti, Shukadeva Goswami also knows. But Vyasa Vetana Vetiva, he says. Whether Veda Vyas knows or not, I can't say. Why? Because Veda Vyas is literary incarnation of the Supreme Lord. So Supreme Lord doesn't know his own glories. But who knows his glories best? Devotees. So Shukadeva and Shiva, they both are devotees. Shiva is Vaishnavanam. And Shukadeva Goswami is also known as a very great realized personality of Bhagavatam. So he says, we both know the glories of the Lord because we are devotees. We can glorify Him. But Vyasadeva we can't say, because being Supreme Lord, he may not know his own glory. So, and then therefore, Bhaktas Bhaktya Bhagavatam Grashyam Na Buddhya Na Chatikaya. By intelligence alone and by any amount of studying of tikas, you cannot get to the depth of the Bhagavatam message, because Bhagavatam resides in the heart of the devotee. Dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam mahajano yena kata sapanta. So the devotion is necessary. Bhaktya mama bijanati. Yeah. Yeah, like Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met that illiterate Brahman in the Srirangam temple, isn't it? So how do we reach that stage of exact level of devotion? I am still a novice. And that intersecting element is regular study of Bhagavatam, and regularly, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, correct, no? And that increases our devotion to the Lord. We have to occasionally not study, regularly we should study. Second one is eagerness. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, our Shukadeva Goswami and Parikshit are sitting together. Parikshit told him, Vayam dhanyatama loke guropi kshatra bandavaha vayam pivamo muhustvatta punyam krishna katambratam. He's telling, my dear Guruji, in this world to hear Bhagavatam from a Vaishnava is very rare. And to hear from a pure Vaishnava is even more rare. And to hear from a pure devotee Vaishnava again and again is the rarest. And I am getting that rarest good fortune, he's saying. Vayam dhanyatama, dhanya dhanyatara dhanyatama. So you are the purest of the devotees, and I am hearing from you, and I am a Kshatriya Bandhu, which means I am not a proper king, Kshatriya king, because I offended a Samik Rishi. So I am a degraded fellow. Still you are so kind to me. You came to the bank of Ganges and teaching me. I am very grateful to you. That's the heart of Parikshit. And what Shukadeva Goswami is saying, Sadhu Prishtam Mahabhaga Tvaya Bhagavatottamaha. You are Uttama Bhagavat, Parikshit is telling. You are a pure devotee, born in Pandava's clan, in that lineage. Nutanayasi Ishasya Punyakatamritam Muhu is saying that Yan Nutanayasi Ishasya means for you the Bhagavatam is ever fresh. You never get tired. You didn't drink water, you didn't eat food, you didn't sleep at night. 7 days, 7 nights you are hearing. What amazing taste you have. Such eagerness. And then he is saying, Sadamayam Sarapratam Nisargo Adartavani Shutje Sadam Api Pratikshanam Navyasaya Achyutasya Striya Vitanam Iva Sadhu Vartha is saying, when you see in this world, if any man talks about another woman, immediately the other people's ears stand direct. They want to hear. They want to hear. Like in office also, once the manager got a new secretary girl, and everybody in the department started talking. Who is that girl? What is her name? She is North Indian or South Indian? Where does she come from? Is she permanent in this department or she will switch over? And what will happen if you don't know, you'll die or what? But two things people talk about. One is about money, another one about woman. You will see this. So their ears immediately become erect. They are eager to hear. So this example is giving Striya Vitana Iva Sadhu Varta. Just as a non-devotee materialist is eager to hear some information about a beautiful woman, similarly, the sadhus, devotees of the Lord are very eager to hear about Krishna. Like that he's saying. Somebody may say, why dirty example you are giving like this? Because conditioned souls will understand only such examples. It's very easy to understand. So he's saying, such is their eagerness of sadhu. And I have witnessed people with such eagerness. They will even forget the prasad. They'll forget the lunch box, as you say, no? Forget the lunch box, forget the clock. Of course, I have to keep track of the clock also. So, that is the eagerness with which we should hear. See, if you are eager to hear about Krishna, then Krishna becomes eager to take you back. Correct or not? Isn't it? If you are sleeping in the class, or we are asking, when will you liberate us from the class? Then Krishna will wonder, what kind of person is this? He is not interested in hearing about me. Krishna will feel very sorry. Yeah. Yes. Just like when you are eating food, first you get taste in the tongue, you get satisfaction in the belly, then you get strength in the arms. Similarly, when you study Bhagavatam, you get taste. Oh, I want to hear more. Huh? I want to hear more. And similarly, you get satisfaction, no more material hankerings after that. Then you get strength to preach also. Yeah. They told this. Shushrutamno vidanotu vidvan. What that verse? Very beautiful verse. Mahatamaikanta parayanasya Hare Rudaram Charitam Vishuddham Shushrutamno vidanotu vidvan. They are saying that you are Bhagavata Pradhan, Sukadeva Goswami, and we are Shushrutam. We are eager to hear, and you are a pure devotee, and Lord Hari is very Udaram, magnanimous. Therefore, this is the best match. Let us hear Bhagavatam from you. It's like nectar, they are saying. We were doing yajna which was blackening our faces, and the result wasn't very certain, going to heaven and all that. But now Bhagavatam, while hearing itself, we are developing confidence that we are seeing Krishna eye to eye by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. So eagerness and sense of urgency also. So that sense of urgency is required. Human life, use it or lose it. Human life is very rare. Bhagavatam, when you read that, you will see Shaunakadi rishis are speaking how the time in this world is influencing the rising of the sun and setting of the sun. One day is cut off from our life. When we read Bhagavatam, we will develop a sense of urgency. That I have to remember Krishna. Actually, when we read Prabhupada purports, I would say the most important element in the Srimad Bhagavatam is Prabhupada's purports. Because some people are reading only translations to complete the Bhagavatam. That is not useful. Maybe you may know the pastime storyline. People want to quickly finish. That type of reading is not good. You should always read the purport. Because in Prabhupada's purports only you get Prabhupada's mood and mission. Prabhupada's faith and conviction. Prabhupada's teachings are all there in the purport. So now when you are all doing Bhakti Vaibhava, there will be questions on salient points from Prabhupada's purports. So naturally you will read them. They're very important. Because only when we read Prabhupada's purports, we feel the sense of urgency. Like Prabhupada always was like that. Once he was walking the road with disciples, he saw one tree outside a compound wall of a man's house. And the tree was extending the branch and touching the house. Prabhupada said, see, this fellow, he made the house and he died. Then he became a tree. Now he's touching the house with his branch. Now you can't enjoy the house. In summer and winter, he's outside the house. Therefore, take to Krishna consciousness. Don't become a tree. Go back home. Back to God. That's how Prabhupada was always. And character and dealings are very important. One should be sinless. Anagha. Akhyatani apyaditani. Reading Bhagavatam alone is not enough. One should explain it to others also. Akhyatani means explaining. Experienced in explaining. Actually, those of you devotees who are already studying Prabhupada books and you already started preaching to some equal friends or other younger people are taking a Bhakti Vriksha, you will see you grow very fast in Bhakti when you explain to others. Because when you explain, you are also hearing. You are explaining to them and you have to prepare also. So, my humble request would be that everybody who is going to study Bhakti Vaibhava, take blessing from your Bhakti Vriksha leader or mentor and get an opportunity for starting a small group of 5 to 10 people, at least for the sake of delivering what you have learned. Read, understand, and also deliver it to them. That will make you progress very fast. And mananam, you will do recollection. And also, we will be forced to have good character because people will watch us, whether we are living what we are speaking. If you say, do this, do that, then they will all check you. That's correct. Yeah. So, he said, Samya snigdasya shishyasya guravo guhyam apyita. The very famous verse, 1.1.8. He was very gentle, Sutta Goswami, and he was pure without any malice towards anybody. He was completely non-envious. And he was also affectionate, respectful, and submissive towards all the spiritual masters. Snigdasya shishyasya. So, these qualities are very important for us. We should not hate any Vaishnava. We should not be greedy. And we should be respectful to elders always. Yeah. So, good character is more important than a great skill set. Therefore, to cultivate this quality of humility, patience, compassion, gratitude, and also purify our lust, anger, greed, and all that. And we should draw blessings of senior Vaishnavas always by good behavior. Then gratitude. Yeah. So one who is not grateful is called as a great fool. Yeah. What is that? This one? No. So actually, gratitude is the source of dozens of good qualities. Yeah. In Mahabharata, it is said, Vishnu Pitama says, in this world, for everything there is prayaschitta. But if you do one mistake, for that there is no prayaschitta, he says. What is it? Not having gratitude. There is no prayaschitta for that. He says, children should be grateful to parents for them having raised them to the stage where they are in. Similarly, one should be grateful to the teachers. We should be grateful to our friends. We should be grateful to ultimately Krishna, who is supplying us everything. So, there is so much to be grateful for. One should not forget the favors received. See, gratitude to all the acharyas. Jairi Drishi Bhagavato Rachana Anuvada. He says, that, oh acharyas, not only you have studied the scriptures, you have lived the scriptures with great conviction. Yeah. And you have floated it down in the Guru Parampara for us to follow. You've given us the methods by which we can go back to God. What can we give you in return? We can't satisfy you with money. You can't satisfy you with any other material goods. So just like Ganga water, you take in the hand and offer it back. Like that, we have to, whatever we have received from you, we have to offer it to you back and preach that message and please you. So these acharyas are such exalted personalities. How can we please them? So we should only express gratitude. Prahlad Maharaj expressed gratitude to Narada in front of Lord Narasimha. He just wanted continuing service to Narada. Yeah. And we should give up our prejudices and preconceived notions. Only then, Shraddhavan Labhate Jnanam. Only then the knowledge of Bhagavatam will sink in our heart. Otherwise, if you, sometimes what happens, we come to the class, but we are more in a mood of showing the teacher, I know better than you. That attitude is not very helpful in Bhagavatam study. Yes, you may know some shlokas, you may know some information, but if you are too boastful in nature and you try to show off to the other students, whatever teacher said, I know better than the teacher, those people have not realized the Bhagavatam. So one should be non-envious. Yeah, if somebody is having a better understanding of Shastra, see, if you are envious of another person who has a better understanding of Shastra, the Shastras which are non-different from the Lord shall not reveal their inner meanings to us. Yeah. See the picture, now this fellow is saying. We should rejoice seeing a devotee better than us in some way, because we can derive inspiration from them and learn from them. Sometimes you find many younger devotees, they may be more advanced than us. See, Gauranga Darshan Prabhu is himself a good example. Gauranga Darshan Prabhu, when he came to Govardhan Eco Village, first 1.5 years, he was making mud blocks. That was the service given to him. 1.5 years he was doing mud blocks, making mud blocks and building those cottages. And after that, Gauranga Prabhu called him and said, now there is a dire need for a head pujari in the Radha Vrindavan Vihari temple. And that service was given to him. So he did that service also for 6 months, 1 year he was doing. Now also he is doing that service. And then Gauranga Prabhu one day called him and asked him, now we want to start a Vidyapeetham. We are looking for someone who can teach Bhagavatam. Would you like to try it? He said, yes, why not? So when he took it up, he took it to a very great height, that Bhaktivedanta Vidyapeetham. He produced the Subodhini guides. He became a wonderful teacher. He came to, I think he joined full time in 2006 or 7, I think. That is the year he joined. He's a young devotee relatively compared to many other senior people who joined in 2000 or before that. But with the kind of sincerity and intensity with which he practiced Krishna consciousness and is continuing to produce many books. So we may think he's a young devotee, but he has done 90% in the previous life only. He's continuing from where he left, correct? Therefore, one should not feel envious. You will find when Shukadeva Goswami is speaking Bhagavatam, Narada is sitting and hearing, Vedavyas is sitting and hearing. Who is Shukadeva's guru? Vedavyas. Who is Vedavyas's guru? And both are sitting there. Are they envious? No. If they are sitting, who are we? Are we bigger than Narada? Are we bigger than Vedavyas? No. If you are feeling envy, that is only unnecessary imagination of our greatness, isn't it? And then servitude. Yeah. See, Jiva Goswami Jiva Goswami, as soon as he came from Varanasi and joined the team of Goswamis in Vrindavan, the first service that was given to him was making that leaves for Rupa Goswami to write. Such kinds of things. He was processing leaves and all that, and cleaning the ashram, cooking, such things he was doing, although he was a very great scholar. So, eventually Jiva Goswami was given the task of writing literature and all, and he wrote 4 lakh verses. Said, very great scholar. But initially he did menial service. So, one should be ready for doing menial service, because menial service will keep our head between the shoulders. We'll be humble. Otherwise, we'll become too proud without menial service. Like book distribution, Harinam Sankirtan, cooking prasad, serving prasad, worshipping deity, cleaning the floor. In Chowpari temple, he came, His Holiness Krishna Chetra Maharaj. So he said to my spiritual master, I want to meet the president of the temple. So Maharaj said, there are 4 presidents rotating in our temple. So one of them he told Shamanpur. So Maharaj, one devotee took him to place where Shamanpur was cleaning the toilet. And when Krishna Chetra Maharaj saw, he was shocked. Oh, this is the president of the temple cleaning the toilet. The temple. So, and Maharaj said, here everybody does everything, all services, he said. So, when you are holding a senior position, but you are willing to do any type of seva, that seva, especially for white collar devotees, they should do menial services for purifying their heart and getting rid of pride. So, this mood of surrender Guru, Tadviddhi Pranipatena Pariprashnena Sevaya. So, in that purport, Prabhupada writes, no blind following and no absurd inquiry. One man asked Prabhupada, Swamiji, in Dwaraka, what was the sewage system? He asked. Prabhupada said, why are you asking? He said, because I heard 16,100 palaces were there. How did they manage the sewage system? I wanted to know. Prabhupada said, absurd question. He said. Next question, he said. He didn't entertain. So, theoretical knowledge and service to Guru gives practical realization. Okay? Yeah. See, this is Ram Lakshman serving Vishwamitra. And this is Krishna Balaram going to the ashram of Sandipani Muni. He's setting an example. Yeah. And then nourishment versus remembrance of the Lord. And seeking the essence. You have to become a Saragrahi. Not a Bharavahi means loading the head with a lot of knowledge without realizing the essence. Like you see the honey bee is called as a Saragrahi. He takes only the honey from the flowers. He doesn't carry the whole bush. Isn't it? Whereas a donkey carries basmati rice on his back, he doesn't get one mushti to eat also. He's a Bharavahi. So, Prabhupada is the essence collector. Yeah. Prabhupada was so intelligent, he could exactly hit the nail and answer the questions. Last thing, knowledge, application leads to, and then realization. All 3 are important. Journey from knowledge to realization is practical application. We should not keep the knowledge theoretical. So, see, if you consider 2 people, if they meet regularly, either for some work or friendly interaction, they will have something to share with each other, isn't it? Now, you will, in the same manner, you will see, research versus revelation, if you see, knowledge remains dormant without processing. If you don't practically apply. When you apply it practically, like you, for example, you have read Bhagavad Gita, but when you go out to distribute books, somebody will insult you, then you understand. Krishna says sometimes, Shita Ushna Sukha Dukkha Man Apaman you get. Then you get realization. Okay, we will stop with this. The last one. We're running out of time now. Most the examples are given. Different examples are given. So this is our Gauranga Darshan Prabhupada has prepared Not only the book, he also has prepared PPTs for each of the lessons, and he also offers a course. This course is offered all over India. There's 6 sessions on uh, this art of studying Shastra, studying and teaching Shastra. Shilpa ki, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki. Thank you. So, I was speaking on Raghunath Das Goswami yesterday and Panihati festival. And today we had on the study of Bhagavatam, because many of you are going for the Bhakti Vaibhava course. So, you are getting a very good platform in this temple to grow in your devotion service, flourish in your devotion service with so much support. There are so many boys, there are so many congregation, Prabhuji's, Mataji's children. This temple is giving you nice facility. Our Anukul Keshav and his team are providing that platform for everybody. This whole project has developed by the sincere efforts of devotees over decades, many years of service. So we should take full advantage of it. And also one very important thing I would say is many of the temples now, after the COVID period, are finding one challenge in bringing the devotees weekly once to temple. Because people are thinking, anyway, online is there. You can attend online. Online, you won't get prasad. You won't get charanamrit. Yeah, you can't smell the flower offered to the Lord. Can you smell in your computer? You cannot smell the flower offered to the Lord. So, and also you can't embrace the devotees, meet the devotees. You can't dance with devotees in the computer. So therefore, we have to come to temple regularly, at least once in a week, especially on Sundays. So I have seen His Holiness Gopal Maharaj, whenever any devotee gets initiated and asks him for instruction, first thing I have seen him in Pune telling, at least once in a week you should go to temple on Sundays, compulsory. You should go, preferably from early morning, 4:30 to 9:30, if there is a Bhagavatam. I think here in your temple you have Bhagavatam at 10 o'clock, I think, is it? 11. I think 10 o'clock some Harinam Sankirtan or something is there. Huh? After that, the Harinam Sankirtan, yeah. So 11. So one morning program in a week and attending such programs like Bhagavatam with the association of other devotees. There's a powerful vibration set up when you sit down and hear with other devotees. Honestly, tell me, when you are in online, you have not put on your video, will you sit like this and hear? Mostly we will be like our Lord Vishnu in the Ananta Shesh. Correct. And how much goes into your ears, how much evaporates, only Lord knows. Correct, no? You start reclining and half you are sleeping, half awake. Nobody is watching you. Correct, no? Whereas here in the temple hall, you have to sit. If you doze also, somebody will do this. So in the association of devotees, we should hear Bhagavatam. It's very important. So one devotee is asking how to develop eagerness and sense of urgency to study scriptures. So one thing is, like if you see children in the beginning, small kids, mothers want to feed them this rice and dahi, dahi bath or something, milk rice or dahi rice. After the child moves from breast milk to food, do you think children like to eat the food? Do you think they like to eat? They run away actually. You can ask any mother. Child goes from this room to that room to this room, he keeps on going away. Mother goes and catches and gives. Similarly, newcomers, you will see, when you have to call them for a weekly program, very difficult. Sometimes I find abroad, when they want to invite people for a program, they put big prasadam plate picture. That is bigger than the title of the program also. They say, please come for eating, isn't it? So difficult to attract new people to come. At first prasad and then music and then maybe they'll hear a little bit. But after you grow up in Krishna consciousness, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, then like you all naturally take your plate and go and sit and eat. Nobody needs to chase. Mother doesn't chase after you for food. Same with hearing also. In the beginning, somebody has to chase you and bring you to class. After that, follow-up should be zero. You should come running. Just like we talk about So we should see the great characters in Shastra, how eager they were to hear, like Parikshit I was telling you. So either you have natural eagerness, or if the natural eagerness is not there, if we do it as a duty responsibly, then that eagerness will manifest. Like, you make it a point, like it or not, I will chant. I like it or not, I will come to the class regularly. And then you'll be surprised. When you do it as a duty, the duty turns into love. And then the eagerness increases by that. Just like, you were eating, after the breast milk, when you started eating rice and chapati and all, then now you like it. You develop a liking over a period of time. Same with the boy and girl when they get married by parents' blessings. When mother and father bless the son and daughter there. So when they are at that time the girl is going from her home to her in-laws home, correct, no? She doesn't know the boy. Boy is new. She has some amount of tension also. I don't know this family, how they are going to be with me. But then when she connects, then you will find she starts serving the husband. So gradually as she serves, and then the relationship gradually builds. In 4 or 5 years, they become so thickly related, you cannot separate them. You will see that by rendering service. Similarly, Guru is introducing us to Krishna. Initially, it looks like difficult for us. But when you chant Hare Krishna, read the literature, worship the deities, take prasad, come in the Sangha of devotees, gradually as the mind gets cleaned, the affection, attraction for Krishna is a natural phenomenon. It will come out. The eagerness will increase. And as far as sense of urgency goes, I would suggest the devotee that you sleep early and rise early in the morning and chant. Like sleep at 9 and get up at 3. If you can do that. Because before Mangalarati chanting, what you do is very powerful. When we chant in the early morning hours, we become very powerfully situated. And then you can get to see things which common people cannot see. You can see the 3 modes in action. You can see how the living entities are suffering, how the time is devouring everybody. The spiritual vision will become more and more, clarity will come in that. Then you rise early in the morning and chant with very attentive ears, you chant. And then study of Bhagavatam will be done with attentiveness also. So I can conclude. Srila Prabhupada ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki. I'll quote one shloka and conclude, okay? Tadaiva ramyam ruchiram navam navam. I'll show that so that you will not commit mistake. Very important. This is the glorification of Bhagavatam, this verse. You want Devanagari or English? Tadeva ramyam ruchiram navam navam. Tadeva shashvan manaso mahotsavam. Tadeva shokarnava shoshanam rinam. Yaduttamashloka yasho nugiyate. So Srimad Bhagavatam is Ramyam, means beautiful. Ruchinam means tasty. Navam navam means ever fresh. And Shashvat Manaso Mahotsavam means perpetual festival for the mind. Shashvan Manaso Mahotsavam. And Shoka Arnava means ocean of suffering. Shoshanam, it evaporates. Nrinam, of the human beings, the ocean of grief with which living entities are crying in this world, that ocean of grief is evaporated by studying Bhagavatam. Yeah, the Uttama Shloka Yasho Anugiyate. The Supreme Lord Krishna, who is glorified by choice poetry, and that is glorified in the Guru Parampara, which is coming in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. So therefore, one should partake of this nectar of Srimad Bhagavatam every day in their life. Mantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki.
Hare Krishna. So very fortunate to have the Association of His Grace Radheshyam Prabhuji on this wonderful topic, Glories of Srimad Bhagavatam, and many devotees have come even from far off, 20 kilometers. I can see many faces and so many devotees for this. And actually, the first person in my life to chant, in my life to read Srimad Bhagavatam is Grace Radheshyam Prabhu. So when first time I came to the center, so Prabhuji was the one to give us the mala and told anybody promises to chant every day, we'll give you a mala. And the first time there. And then fourth year I was there in my engineering college and there were some problems happening. So he said, just read Srimad Bhagavatam. And that's the first time I started reading Srimad Bhagavatam. And the qualities of Prabhuji is talking about about how a person should read Bhagavatam and how a person should teach. So Prabhuji exemplifies. So Prabhuji went 2 years exclusively with his busy schedule of preaching to GV Vada to learn, and he was studying under devotees like Gaurang Darshan Prabhu, Radha Vallega Prabhu, Balram Shakti Prabhu, who are much, much junior to Prabhuji. But as Prabhuji told, the quality of non-enviousness, so he learned with them with so much Shraddha and thing. And then Prabhuji came and started Bhakti Vaibhav, teaching practically 4-5 places to all the brahmacharis and some congregation in Pune, Kolkata, Kanpur, 3-4 places. And many devotees got inspired to read Srimad Bhagavatam there. And I remember I developed appreciation for Srimad Bhagavatam because I learned under Prabhuji and many other teachers. So how Prabhuji would explain a pastime, it just becomes a reality in our life. And I could never think that way. So we are very fortunate to start with Prabhuji's first class from there, and others also to get inspiration to study Srimad Bhagavatam. So we thank Prabhuji by one time chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare.
And many senior devotees also have joined this course just to please His Holiness Jagat Pataka Swami Maharaj. So many devotees have taken this course and joining to inspire us there. But we will be taking like Rakhal Krishna Prabhu, Kripamaya Gaurang Prabhu. So they are very senior devotees. So I was telling if I get stuck somewhere, they will correct me there. So, so request all devotees to come in alphabetical order and receive your Bhakti Vaibhav manual.
So Hare Krishna devotee.